Americans love pizza. Whether it's at your favorite local restaurant or at your kitchen table, each week, about 100 million Americans take a bite out of their favorite pie. From Maine to Southern California, there are about 95,000 pizzerias scattered across the U.S. For more than 50 years, one of the major U.S. chains that consumers turn to for their pepperoni fix is Pizza Hut. The Red Roof restaurant, known for its stuffed crust and its pizza buffets, has more than 16,000 restaurants in over 100 countries. Pizza Hut even put a pie into outer space. But the 60-year-old brand has struggled, according to analysts. In 2017, Domino's overtook Pizza Hut as the largest pizza chain by global sales, and in July 2020, Pizza Hut's largest U.S. franchisee filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, the brand has been in decline. I mean, I think they've had a lot of, closures of stores, and they've had some, same-store sales that have been, fairly negative and especially relative to their peers. So yeah, I think they've been in decline.
About 10% of our business is in dine-in. There's obviously a big headwind against that. And so, one of our challenges that we've always had for the past how many ever years is how do we migrate to more of a delivery and carry-out business, given that's where the customer's going? And COVID certainly accelerated that. So we're partnering right now with our franchisees to figure out how do we continue to evolve the estate, but certainly the footprint that we have and the access that our customers have to us is a big advantage for Pizza Hut.
Sales of pizza have surged during the pandemic. In May 2020, Pizza Hut's delivery and carryout sales reached an 8-year high. And there are signs that the coronavirus pandemic has helped revive the pizza maker's U.S. business too. Pizza Hut and its rivals Domino's, Little Caesars, and Papa John's are locked in a fierce battle, offering new products, discounts, and a range of delivery options to try and win over customers. So what went wrong at Pizza Hut, and will the chain's takeout and delivery service be enough to offset the decline of the dine-in restaurant experience? Pizza Hut got its start in Wichita, Kansas in 1958. Dan and Frank Carney, brothers who were studying together at Wichita State University, borrowed $600 from their mother and decided to try their hand at a popular new food item, pizza. With almost no experience and a meager budget, the pair wrote out their first pizza recipe on a napkin, got a used stove from a nearby restaurant, and named the menu Pizza Hut because the sign out front only had room for 8 letters. Pizza was considered a novelty in meat and potatoes, Kansas, and from opening day, the dish was a hit. And the brothers quickly replicated that success by franchising the concept out to their friends.
Initially, this is a very informal type of network of individuals. These are friends who know each other, and it's very much a matter of handshake. The old statement was, "Did you shake hands with Dan on it?" And that served as a contract in some of those early negotiations.
In the 1960s, the restaurant expanded quickly across Kansas, becoming a regional chain, and then, according to analysts, one of the first national pizza chains in the U.S.
Pizza Hut is a sit-down restaurant. It's not just showing up, getting a burger, and leaving. The idea of sitting down for a meal becomes part of the Pizza Hut persona.
By the early 1970s, Pizza Hut was the #1 pizza chain in the world in both sales and the number of venues. In 1972, the company opened its 1,000th restaurant, listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and in 1977, Pizza Hut merged with PepsiCo, becoming a division of the soft drink giant. In the 1980s, rivals Little Caesars, Domino's, and Papa John's were expanding too. To keep ahead of the competition, Pizza Hut launched new products like its famous original pan pizza in 1980, the personal pan pizza a few years later, and the hand-tossed traditional pizza in 1988. Pizza Hut also continued with its massive expansion at home and abroad, opening its 5,000th restaurant in 1986. By the 1980s and the early 90s, the company was experimenting with delivery, all-you-can-eat pizza buffets, and online ordering. It was trying out new menu options too. In 1995, the pizza maker launched the stuffed crust pizza.
So when Pizza Hut was at its best and we were growing, exponentially, it was all about creating pizzas that you couldn't get anywhere else. It was all about special pizzas that you can only get from Pizza Hut, whether it's our special stuffed crust, which is the 25th anniversary, or our pan pizza, which a lot of people don't know was invented so that the pizza could actually deliver and be carried out better than eating in the restaurant because of the thicker dough. It retains heat better, right? And so we have a history of innovation that is really important to customers.
Despite all the innovation, Pizza Hut's share of the market has been falling since the 90s. According to Technomic, Pizza Hut's share of the limited service pizza category declined from 25% in 1995 to just 14% in 2016. In 1997, PepsiCo decided to spin off its then struggling fast food business, launching Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC into a new publicly traded company that would later be renamed Yum Brands, a company now worth $30 billion as of November 2020.
What happened, I think, over the course of the last maybe 20 years, maybe even longer, is that we just started to have this greater push, not just in pizza, but across the industry for more off-premise. People just dining more at home and having more delivered and having it more picked up and eating it more at home.
Pizza Hut's dominance, which if you go back to the 70s or 80s was unsurpassed in the industry, is no longer there. And not only do they have several large national competitors, but you also have a number of players that are relatively new. You look at a Blaze Pizza, or you look at a Mod Pizza.
In 1999, Pizza Hut rolled out the Big New Yorker Pizza with a TV ad featuring Donald Trump, and in 2001 became the first company to deliver a pizza into outer space. But as consumers shifted to mobile ordering and delivery, Pizza Hut, known historically for its dining restaurants, saw its sales slide. In a move to counter falling revenue, in 2017 the company invested $130 million to improve technology, boost advertising, and up its fleet of delivery drivers by 14,000. The following year, the chain unveiled plans to renovate more than 500 out of its 7,500 U.S. restaurants each year, and that same year the restaurant became the official pizza sponsor of the NFL after Papa John's severed its ties with the league. And Pizza Hut has a massive footprint too, larger than rivals Domino's and Papa John's. At the end of 2019, Pizza Hut had close to 19,000 locations in the U.S. and abroad, including traditional restaurants and express stores. Total system sales were $12.9 billion in 2019, more than 5% higher than in 2018. That same year, more than 60% of venues were located outside of the U.S. and 99% were operated by franchisees. The pizza industry in the U.S. is a roughly $45 billion business dominated by a handful of big players. Independent mom-and-pop operators make up about half of the pizzerias in the U.S., while regional chains and national brands make up the remainder. In the U.S., the four biggest pizza makers are Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, and Papa John's. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, pizza makers who have their digital ground game in place and digital assets in order have seen big gains. Domino's, the world's largest pizza chain and an early investor in tech and delivery, said U.S. same-store sales climbed more than 17% in its third quarter of 2020. The pizza chain also said it plans to hire 10,000 workers to meet demand.
Domino's was probably the early mover in terms of the tech advantage in the pizza space. And they're generating over 3/4 of their sales now coming from digital, which is just a phenomenal.
Domino's uses a strategy called fortressing, adding stores in existing markets to be closer to customers in order to make deliveries even faster. Globally, the company added an average of more than 3 stores every day in 2019.
I think when you look at what Domino's did a couple years ago by blowing up their entire sort of product category and reinventing their entire pizza portfolio, I think what had been a challenge for Domino's in terms of quality suddenly became a strength of theirs. And so, certainly that plus their digital footprint helped Domino's tremendously in their growth and how they blew past Pizza Hut.
As of November 12, 2020, Domino's had a market cap of $15 billion, and the company's stock price hit an all-time high closing price of $433 on October 2nd, 2020, 81% higher than a year earlier. Social distancing has been good for rival pizza makers too. Yum Brands shares have seen a huge rebound in 2020, and Papa John's shares hit new records. Sales numbers are also looking good. Papa John's said in November its third quarter 2020 North American same-store sales grew 24% as the coronavirus crisis forced more people to turn to delivery and takeout. The company also said it would hire an additional 30,000 workers. And in October 2020, Pizza Hut reported U.S. same-store sales grew 6% in the third quarter of 2020 from a year earlier.
So certainly in the U.S., what the market is asking for from pizza now is fast delivery to-go type options. which Pizza Hut has been slow to adapt and slow to respond to, or just it's had trouble doing so. Those red roof Pizza Huts, which back in the 70s and 80s were their competitive point of difference, have sort of become an albatross for them in a way that is weighing them down.
The pandemic has also had a big impact on the state of the brand's franchises too. In July 2020, Pizza Hut's largest U.S. franchisee, NPC International, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after years of slumping sales and roughly $1 billion in debt. NPC International operates more than 1,200 Pizza Huts.
We look at this as a positive. It's something that we've known for a while. Even pre-COVID, there was discussions about this, right? And the reality is NPC, either the new owner or owners, are going to come out much more well-capitalized, great operators, ability to invest in the business. And the thing that we're excited about is there's a lot of folks that we're hearing about that are interested, both existing franchisees in our business and new franchisees. And that's because the trajectory of the business right now is quite good.
In August 2020, Pizza Hut said it would close up to 300 mostly dine-in restaurants as part of the agreement between the pizza maker and NPC. Little Caesars is a privately held company and hasn't reported their 2020 earnings. CNBC reached out to ask for these numbers, and we didn't hear back from the company. Even before the pandemic began to shut down countries around the world, Pizza Hut was posting disappointing earning results. In February 2020, Yum Brands announced Kevin Hochman would be named interim president of Pizza Hut's U.S. division. Hochman was credited with turning around KFC in the U.S. through a series of celebrity commercials and a $5 value menu. Some analysts have cautioned it's a difficult road ahead if Pizza Hut wants to retake its spot as the #1 pizza shop in the U.S. Experts say Pizza Hut would have to solve 3 very big problems: reconciling its large footprint and rapidly upgrading its online ordering and delivery technology, which has fallen behind its peers. And it needs to address a menu with offerings that aren't resonating with consumers like they used to. According to analysts, about 40 to 50% of Pizza Hut stores in the U.S. are large, casual, sit-down style restaurants, an income stream that was mostly cut off while restaurants remained closed in 2020. With more people eating at home over the past 2 decades, rivals Papa John's and Domino's have transitioned to stores with a smaller footprint, which are able to handle pickup and delivery more efficiently.
When you think about delivery and pickup, I think you think Papa John's and you think Domino's, right? And they've managed to build more stores that are smaller footprint, a fraction of the size of a Pizza Hut, that are more efficient at delivering and are closer to the consumer.
Papa John's and Domino's were also early investors in tech and have continued to make big investments. Papa John's claimed that in 2001, it was the first national pizza company with online ordering in all of its U.S. delivery restaurants. In 2019, Domino's launched a GPS delivery tracking platform that allows customers to track the progress of their pizza. That same year, the pizza maker teamed up with the robotic company Neuro to test an autonomous delivery vehicle. In the U.S., Domino's generated over 65% of its sales from its digital channels in 2019.
You'd be surprised that I think Domino's and Papa John's both have a very similar digital mix. Somewhere around 70% of both their sales are coming from digital, so both around the same, but I think Pizza Hut's been below them. I think somewhere around 45-50% of sales have been digital.
And Pizza Hut is beefing up its digital game too, revamping its website and its app and making it easier for customers to track the progress of their pizza delivery.
The roadmap's pretty simple, actually. It almost seems a little too simple. We've got to start serving the best tasting pizzas again, served in a frictionless experience, which is more the modern pizza experience. What that means is both online and offline, how do we make it easier to transact with Pizza Hut? So online, it's all about making sure that the website, the mobile web, and the app have a completely new user experience to allow for fewer clicks and easier to transact with pizza. And then even in the offline world, there's still about 30-35% of our business transacts over the phone. How do we make sure it's easy and our team members answer that phone every time so the customer gets the experience what they want when they call and want to order Pizza Hut?
According to analysts, Pizza Hut has struggled in the past with its menu of pizza, wings, sandwiches, and pasta. The selection has been difficult for franchises and operators to make and has caused disruptions in the overall workflow.
I think that's been the biggest issue, is that there's been too much menu complexity, at Pizza Hut, and and honestly, some of the changes they've made to just the recipes haven't clicked as much as some of the changes that its competitors have made as well.
But that might be about to change. In November 2020, Pizza Hut announced it was teaming up with Beyond Meat to add meatless sausage to its menu.
We're super excited about the pizza innovation that's coming to market. We're bringing all new recipes that I'm pretty sure that nobody's seen nationally from a pizza chain. In the next 3 months, you're going to see something that, I think you've seen in other industries, but we really haven't seen it in national pizza. That's going to be really exciting and bring some incremental customers into Pizza Huts, both for carryout and delivery. And then in Q1 of next year, we're really excited about a blockbuster pizza launch that is really democratizing a trend that we're seeing all across the country that, quite frankly, no national players have played in.
The 60-year-old pizza giant is also in the middle of an identity crisis, but the coronavirus pandemic, an unlikely accomplice, might just be the solution to that problem.
We have a long way to go in our turnaround. We have a lot of momentum, so I'm pretty excited about where we're going next.